Well, we're live.
All right. Oh, just quick before we get in on this.
Ooh.
Right.
Okay, I think we're gonna be pretty far away, so let's kind of creep in a little bit closer here. All right. See, we're learning. All right, welcome. We got some things to talk about, right, Austin?
We do. This is the first edition post-COVID closure Coaches Talk.
Yeah, because we haven't really hung out, but we're getting the band back together again, but with just a lot of different parameters. Anyway, so my first, I guess I've been kind of absent from Instagram, not from social media. I guess for the personal reason of, I think there's just so much stuff on there where people are looking to be online and instant gratification. I kind of wanted to keep a lot of the information specific to our members and tried to use outlets that allowed for it just to be that specific audience. But anywho, here we are. We're back. Thank you for everything. You know, we're still standing and plan on being here for a while. And grateful to see everyone.
Definitely.
It's been fun, hey?
It's been awesome. Seeing all you guys and just the excitement of everybody coming back into the gym, the excitement of fitness together is awesome. It's good to see.
Fitness with friends. There's a few topics of conversation that I want to kind of get going on, and Austin doesn't really know what we're going to talk about. I've said a few things, but really not. He doesn't know the tangents we're going to go down yet, but that's what we do. We keep it real. I guess tonight we're going to send out an email explaining the changes that are going to have to occur for passes, sort of how that impacts pricing, and kind of just the whole philosophies behind it. But before we do, what do you ask me every time you see me when you come into coach class?
I ask how it went. So if I'm coaching in the afternoon or I just come in to train, I say, hey, how'd the morning go?
And what do I say every time?
Went awesome.
And?
Easy.
Easy. You know, I joked about this a lot. I'm talking to, some other gym owners, Jesse specifically from Squamish. And like, we were born for this stuff. We're a gym that wants to control what you do, who comes in, what time you come in, right? What you do with the equipment. Don't we get all want to see a coach get mad? Use the equipment improperly, right? So there's really not that much change, except there's less people. But I don't know if you can kind of see there's like a line here. You know, we have configurations of the gym that force that distancing. We don't share equipment anymore. But there's going to be lots of pluses about having smaller classes. It's really easy to modify something.
Very, yeah.
I'm not going to skip. You could be like, oh, I'll give you a bike. Hey, my back's been bothering me. Can I do something else? I'm like, yeah, you've got this whole square footage to yourself. We can do whatever you want. So, no problem. We can do lots of modifications for you guys. But topics of concern are really what I want Austin here for. He's not really sure why, is I want to talk about the programming, and I want to talk about some of the, the differences between how we stopped or when we stopped, what were we doing when we stopped, and 60 days later, what we're doing now, okay? So, hey, Austin, while we were in quarantine, I came up with this kick-ass idea. It's gonna kill everyone. They're gonna get destroyed. Should we do that on Monday?
Nope.
No, right? Like any cool idea that we had or that we've come up with from programming, and that's great, right? That's lots of research, like some good R&D went on, but for the most part, the last thing I think is going to be on our minds is programming any kind of benchmark. The last thing that's going to go on between our mind is like really hurting you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, like a lot of you guys, unless you had this Mac home gym setup, your training the last 2 months has been very different from what's coming in now in the gym, right? That you probably haven't had access to pull-up bars, you haven't been kipping or anything like that. Not a ton of weightlifting, and if you have been weightlifting, probably not really with that much intensity. And
everything's different.
Yeah, everything's different, right? So the most important thing that we're trying to educate with you guys is coming back too fast, too soon, with too much volume and intensity is gonna lead to not good things, potential injury.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that potentially whatever you've been doing with limited equipment might have been too much already. So you might have done too many lunges, too many air squats, too many push-ups, too many burpees.
And another thing, sorry, if
Yeah.
I wanted to add is, as coaches, we love the mentality of, wanting to get back at it. Like, we really like that, kind of like, they really get after it mentality and eager to, start hurting again in workouts and start all this. But also, you need to know is like, what's the rush? Like, what are we rushing so far, so hard to get back into what we did before, or whatever the case might be, right?
I've got Can West.
No, you don't.
Yeah, man, it's in July 2021, maybe.
Right? So
If there's a vaccine and I could gather with big people, exactly. So there's nothing really time oriented that we have to stress over. There's no timeline, right?
no, there's nothing to feel like you're to get rushed into back to doing something or whatever the case might be with any movements, because in general, if your goal is health and longevity, we should be looking at the long game anyways, right? So building back up properly and slowly is going to benefit you in the long term, rather than trying to get to wherever you want to go very quickly.
Right, and then to couple that, okay, let's say we give you advice and you don't listen, which happens, it's okay, I've said this a few times. I'm very rarely concerned that I overwork your muscles. So if we overdo something and your quads are really sore, I know that it's going to take a number of days to recover, but it's going to be measured in the form of days. So that might be 2-3 days of being pretty sore, maybe 4 by the time day 5 or 6. And we're talking about an extreme amount of overdoing it on your quads. But you know what doesn't get measured in days? When you damage your soft tissue. You do a damage to a ligament, your tendons get inflamed. I'm not talking about recovery in days anymore, it's weeks, right? So you've waited 60 days to come back in the gym, and that's a long time. But is there really a rush? And now all of a sudden, guess what? 60 days? You might have 60 days of modified training because you overdid it. Like your elbows trash because you started doing kipping pull-ups without any build-up to it. So we're going to do our best to be smart. And before I forget, because I know there's lots still to talk about, those that have came back week 1, right, and now kind of coming into week 2, we're very mindful of that in the programming. And we're going to slowly build. So the later you get on this train, right, keep in mind you might have to scale things back, even though you might look at the workout and it looks pretty minimal or easy. So that's one thing to keep in mind. We are really mindful of where we're coming from, but as the weeks progress, right, and you start coming back maybe a little bit late, just note that the people that have been here 2 weeks, they should have a longer leash. They should be ready to tackle a lot more work.
Yeah, so the longer you wait to come back, and again, if you
There's no rush.
Yeah,
like you have to be come
be
back on your
comfortable to
terms.
be here, but the longer you do come back, the more you're going to have to modify the programming, because we're programming based on the people that have been here since the start, because they've been here, they've been consistent, and so the programming needs to follow and progress them, right?
Yeah, and sorry, I'm going to interrupt. I'm good at that. There's the other side of it. Some of you guys may feel like the programming is on the light side. Some of you guys feel like, hey, can we do more? That wasn't enough. I would say I hear where you're coming from, and that's a valid point. If you really feel the need to do more, when you get home, just do 200 burpees per time. Does that sound fair? No. Just show a little compassion for a week. Where we're coming from is we want to err on the side of caution, right? We won't want to overdo it. I say this to people coming out of foundations all the time. Say, hey, week 1 or first day you come to class, you're going to leave the workout, and after you left that workout, you're going to say one of two things. Hey, I shouldn't have grabbed that weight, that was too heavy. Or, that was light, I think I could have done more. What do you think the repercussions of are those two statements? If you said that was too heavy, you're probably hurt yourself. or you probably did too much. And if you said it was light, then guess what? You just come back in a day or so and you're fine. So be smart. We're going to help you try and be smart, but
Yeah, but a lot of that ownership falls on yourself as well. We're guides, and we can suggest things, but it's ultimately up to you to take ownership of.
But I will say this, is as classes stay shrunk, right, and we'll talk about a little bit about what the repercussions of that are, but as the classes stay shrunk, it's really hard for the coach not to notice you making silly decisions. Right? At the beginning...
It's hard to hide in a class of 6.
Yeah, like at the beginning, I usually give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't know what you've been up to for the entire time of the 60 days. So, but, you know, it's about adhering to the guidelines of the workouts, and that's really what we'll be programming for, is like keep the, like it says today, 10 thrusters at a light load. The coach will say 10 in a row. You know, you start asking me how much weight that should be. I'm like, listen, I don't know, but if you put on a weight, it better feel light, and you better do 10 in a row, or it's the wrong weight. Yeah. Any thought? I'm going to talk about the pass structure, but before I do that, any thoughts about anything?
No, it's all good notes, for sure.
All good things. All good things.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys are Frozen fans, you know where that comes from. Obviously not a Frozen fan. We're on to new movies, so Sage has graduated from Frozen into The Descendants. We can have sing-alongs later.
My sister's into, you know, it's a little bit more intense now.
Oh.
Harry Potter's, you know, like that's...
Yeah, I got time. You'll school me. So now we have a dilemma of the programming structure. We used to do 2 days of endurance a week. Main reason for that is one, it definitely catered to a person seeking a specific kind of workout. But what it was necessary for is, what should you not do if you're training CrossFit if the gym is open 6 days a week? What should you not do?
If the gym is open 6 days a week,
Yeah,
and you're doing
just
CrossFit every day,
Yeah.
more CrossFit.
No, you shouldn't come every day, right?
Shouldn't come every day.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot, and it was very different under the scenario of like people choosing the endurance classes, so they want to come Tuesday, Thursday, when they also know Monday's leg day and they like the barbell, so they want to do Monday's class, but bench press is sometimes on Wednesday, so can't skip that day. And don't forget, we got to do our Olympic lifting, so you got to double up on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, although it would be your good rest day, but it's the last day of the week, and you like to come to the gym, and then Saturday's a 90-minute class. There's at least undulating intensities when you do that, potentially ways of staying off the barbell for some of the programming days. But now it's just going to be 6 days of CrossFit for a temporary amount of time, potentially. And now we have to be mindful of, one, how many days a week you're going to train. Now, whether we, I can't say that this was something I was planning on doing. I've known about it for quite a long time. But we're going to have to change the unlimited gym model into a per-week visit model. So that means, depending on the membership tier you're looking to get, you're going to choose ahead of time whether you would like to attend the gym 3 times a week, and you'll have a set pricing for a, kind of now can't be a monthly, but every 4 weeks, you would get, 4 weeks will get you 4 visits a week, or you want 3 visits a week, or you want 2 visits a week, or you want 5 visits a week, or you want 6 plus. So there'll be all different price tiers for that.
Yeah, and definitely this isn't new. There's CrossFit gyms all around the world that do this type of membership. So,
Well, other gyms as well.
Yeah, other gyms, yeah.
But I mean, we're not concerned with other gyms at the moment. but yeah, so now you have to decide somewhat, pricing and cost is going to come into it considerably, how much it works with your budget, and then how to make most of those amount of frequent visits per week. But what season is it out there that I can't tell today? What are we coming into?
Going in summer.
We're going into summer, okay? What did 60 days of not having the gym force you to do? Maybe find different ways of getting your fitness on. I would say maybe your social aspect in your life, but I don't know how social everyone was able to be under isolation scenarios. But hopefully we found things that are a little bit different than just being able to go to the gym to help our physical well-being and therefore our mental well-being. right? So I personally train 4 days a week. So if I were going into this new model, I would most probably say, hey, I'm gonna go on the four times a week. And for me, nothing changes because I've always valued when I rest so that when I recover, I come to the gym fresh. And the conversation I've been having to a lot of the people that are still sort of thinking from the old way is when you come to the gym and it says, hey, we're gonna do an EMOM of 16 calorie row, 16 wall ball unbroken for, I don't know, just for this example, I'll say we're gonna do it for 26 minutes. You need to wanna say like, oh man, I'm gonna attack that, I got it. Not be like, oh, but my legs are so sore, I don't think I'm gonna be able to hit that intensity. Oh, we'll just kind of start the workout and see what happens. When we set up workouts that have a certain element of intensity, you should be jazzed to try and make it happen, right? You gotta be like, hey, rowing 16 calories, no problem. I'm gonna do it dampener 7. I'm gonna make sure that I'm trying to hold like a 24 strokes per minute, and I know the wall balls all day. What do we used to say all the time?
Once it get hard?
Yeah, once it get hard. Well, it usually gets hard after you have 60 days rest, but anyways. So, when does it get hard? So, now when you come to the gym, hopefully you have way more energy, way more sense of, like, I'll call it mojo, that you're like, oh,
Eagerness.
Yeah, eagerness, not like, oh man, this is my 5th day in a row. My favorite question to ask when people come to me like, Jordan, oh man, my legs are really sore, and it's Friday. I was like, well, what days were you here this week, and what do you usually hear? What's the answer to, what days were you here this week? When I ask someone why they're so sore on a Friday, what do you think their answer is?
Every day.
Every day. And I'm like, well, what are you, 22? You know, what do you do to recover? You know, how much time and energy you spend on your recovery tactics? What's your sleep like? What's your stress like? How are you managing that? And if you don't manage all that, in all fairness, 5 days in a row might be doing your body a disservice, right? I know maybe Austin's been training, Austin's been training a lot more than me over the last 60 days. I've been training a little bit, doing the Zoom workouts, and my body feels a lot different, right? So my goal in coming back and easing back into barbell and new movements, that I do things to undo the training I do, so when I come back to the gym, I don't go, we're squatting today? Oh, well, I was gonna see how that feels. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to hit my percentages. No, I'm gonna wanna come to the gym and look at the board and say, 90%, 3 sets of 3 at the same weight, now I'm ready, right? That's what I want. That's what I want for you guys.
Yeah.
So it's important that we take the good, and it's really easy to say make the best out of what you're given, or make the good out of every situation. What's the silver lining here? So for me, what I'm trying to preach to you, and I know Austin for sure, and the programming and the approach, is that, hey, we've had a break. Hopefully it's taught us what it's like to sleep a little bit better. Hopefully it's taught us what it's like to maybe stretch a little bit more, take some responsibility to making the body feel good. And maybe it doesn't have to be 7 days a week of in the gym CrossFit training. And I think that's probably going to help the majority of our clients.
Yeah. I'm not in the gym 7 days a week.
No. Well,
No.
maybe, but not working out.
I'm not working out.
Yeah. And you know, maybe the programming as is, maybe it isn't enough for you. Maybe you do want to train more, and there are options for you. And if the gym were able to house 12 people per class, if the cost of running the gym hadn't gone up, if we could keep on getting on new members, if drop-ins were allowed to come in, and our t-shirts and all that stuff, that being the case, yeah, maybe it'd be easy to let everyone train a higher volume. But at the moment, we want to try to make sure everyone has a fair chance of coming into the gym by limiting the enrollment, and well, we have no choice, right? Enrollment's being limited. We want to make it fair, and we want to make sure that we have your best interests in mind, because everyone wants to use the word, this is the new normal, and it's not my choice. That would not be what I would say this is, because when I think of the word normal, I think normal is one way and abnormal is not the right way, or against the norm. Well, do you think the old way should be against the norm? The old way of how we used to the gym, is there anything wrong with that? Like coming in, like having 12 people in a class? No, there's nothing wrong with that. Is there anything wrong with sharing the bar when you squat with somebody? No, and I hope that one day that we are able to do that. So this isn't the new normal. These are just some changes that we have to go through, but we just don't know for how long. So I think we should prepare to stay in this zone for a while, right? Make the most whilst being in this zone, and get ready for when things can change. Hopefully we'll appreciate it a lot more. So we should appreciate what we got now, right?
For sure.
Other than that, I think this got way too long. I doubt I could even put it on Instagram.
20 minutes.
Did they even allow that anymore? It used to be 10 minutes. It's not 10 minutes anymore. But it's a good thing we got a YouTube channel. But yeah, other than that, thanks to everyone that's been through the doors, right? It's been fun.
It's been fun.
I feel that it has been really safe. If you don't feel safe, given your current situation, definitely don't let us try and convince you otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, come to those conclusions on your own.
Yeah, there's definitely options, right? There's the Zoom programming, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You know,
The running homework.
all in there. If you want other
Programming.
programming, reach out. I can help you guys with that as well. So just, you know, there are options.
Yeah.
If you don't feel comfortable coming to the gym yet either.
But thanks for everyone's support, and virtual high five. See, he has better elbow extension. I kind of a little tight in the under. Yeah.
I've been working on my mobility the last 2 months.
I have too, but still overcoming some obstacles. All right, thanks for hanging out for this long video.